It's Sunday Funday. I figured we'd do a little bit of streaming. Why not? Got the fire department out here. Rolling. Look at that big truck go. Pump. Pump. I don't know. Personally, I kind of like the modern, architecture. Modern's pretty big out here. Lots of slants, lots of colors, simple angles. Shout out to everybody who doesn't have grass at their home. Do some, desert landscaping. Maybe even some native plants. I'm not sure what the fire department was out here doing, but where they go. And I hope everybody's doing well. Wow. Rolling. It is Sunday, and every Sunday you have to have fun. If you didn't have fun today, it wasn't Sunday. Got some nice colors on the mountainside. My junk. A little bit of color. Once it dips, it dips. Oh. Good evening, exactly. Saguaro. Taylor Cruz. Very blue tonight. Got kind of like a light cloud cover. I'm doing good. I had a swim earlier. I hiked a little bit, and I might go swim again. You can't get enough good exercise. And I was just getting caught up that a American, I guess, finally won the LA Marathon. Personally, I'm not a marathon runner, but respect to anybody who can run a marathon. I think it was 2 hours, 7 minutes. Whoa. I don't know. I never liked concrete. Actually, the pool is not warm. It's in fact quite cold, but that doesn't stop me. If you go back and forth between, the jacuzzi and the pool, you can kind of balance it out, but it is quite cold. I personally enjoy cold water, especially in the outdoors. I mean, nothing like a good cold waterfall, or a creek, a river. There's a little bit of color coming over the mountain. I mean, you really have to have the right conditions to get that perfect afterglow. Otherwise, it's just blue hour. But it is getting dusky, very dusky. I don't know what that semi is doing there. Just pulled over on the side. Fancy cars. Oh. It's 4 car dealerships in a row. I guess Americans don't have enough luxury vehicles. I saw that people messed up a Tesla dealership in Oregon. That was kind of interesting. No, not so much. I don't miss La Poubelle. I mean, it was certainly interesting, but I think there's still some real questions about what was actually going on there. And personally, I'm over it. People are going to do what they're going to do. And I'm just going to go on with life. I I still think about the Scientology protests, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't let it define me. I was a journalist covering a protest, and I've covered many other things too, like homelessness and Title IX, political corruption. I might write up something again, but I don't know. I think people have to want a free press. If your sum total goal is to control the narrative or to please the people you're writing about, that's not really free press. Like, that's communication. And like, I'm not saying like there's no objectivity, but I think you have to be objective always. But I mean, it was an interesting scene, that's for sure. I wouldn't say like, I mean, certainly I enjoyed the community energy there, but in the end, I have more questions than answers about the sum total of what was happening in that scene. And I mean, time will tell, right? Like, what exactly goes down. I don't think that like what I see currently happening as far as like law enforcement and like the government essentially is being properly applied. Like, it doesn't seem like it's being properly applied. And like, some of the biggest questions that were out there are the ones that, of course, people don't want to talk about. And I think too, you know, for a while the LA Times was really after the Scientology story, and they never quite got it. And it's kind of like the questions, particularly about the Masterson case and who is harassing whom and why, has kind of dried up, and everything piled on top is just a second layer of like show. And then too, as far as like Church of Scientology itself, like, obviously it's not going away. And until you see a lot more pressure on something like that, it's just not going. The live streaming protest was very interesting. It's an interesting tactic, but it's not going to take down an organization like that. It's just not enough energy, even with all the fans. It's not a cataclysmic changing event. Like, we discovered something truly, truly terrible, and it made, you know, national news, and the Church of Scientology had to respond. Otherwise, it's just kind of like chipping away at it, but it's not necessarily like going to like break it. If that makes sense. So in the meantime, I'm doing this. I got some other things I'm working on, and I mean, my whistleblowing as far as USC and Title IX, the Department of Education, that's been like going like sideways really dramatically. That's probably what the next story is going to be about. And then the LA Fed tapes case, political corruption in Los Angeles, racism, that's going to go to trial in June with Kevin De Leon. And then, of course, homelessness. I'm not done totally covering homelessness beat, and I'm certainly done writing about the environment either, and environmental issues. Particularly, I really got to get down to the Salton Sea soon, because I want to see this lithium valley that they want to develop. They want to mine the Salton Sea and get all the lithium to create all the electric cars. And of course, if people don't know too, right, like, I got displaced by the Eaton fire. So I've been back and forth between Los Angeles and out here. And so lots to do about that. Talked to FEMA yesterday. FEMA is hilarious. I hope like everybody understands, like, you do not want to be a victim of natural disaster. Getting like anything out of FEMA is going to take forever. I mean, I think they mean well, but I don't know how like FEMA doesn't have a map of who is subject to evacuations and where the power like outages were. Like, what? And I mean, I've long since stopped expecting things to like function properly, because like Los Angeles particularly is a city of dysfunction, right? Like Los Angeles is a city that doesn't work, it's going broke. Compared to a lot of other municipalities, it's just not a coherent functioning city. And it has a lot of corruption particularly going on. So politics are what they are. I mean, I am like streaming again. Just much like streaming is kind of fun. Once you start streaming, you're like, oh, hey, I'm going to put it out there. But this is tea. I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And I love how all the streets out here are named after entertainers, like Frank Sinatra, stand-up guy. But it's been pretty chill lately. I mean, I think that like for there to be more energy going into that movement, you're gonna need a whole lot more people willing to like show up and like actually want to be part of that versus people on the sideline. And I think it's just kind of like movements in general, like what the trajectory of any given movement, whether social or political or protest or religious, it has a lifespan to it. A little bit of traffic going on here, and you have to like ride the wave, essentially, the wave of where it's gonna go. I don't know. I didn't start it. I'm a journalist. Like I was watching like Dodge Landsman earlier, and Dodge is a good journalist. Like I'll be the first person to admit, like I enjoy Dodge's reports. Like I think Dodge is very patiently objective about what he's saying, what he's doing, and that is professionalism. And like I think at the same time, right, like some of these questions, right, about who's who and what's what, they're bigger questions that should be addressed. That's what I was working on, and frankly I still am not sure that I want to like break that story open, like maybe should be broken, much less be able to penetrate what Scientology is actually doing behind the scenes, particularly the city government. Like I have had like a few sources come, but not sources like you need to break a story like that. And I mean, I think from what I hear, right, like at least in the old days, the newspaper was not very interested in doing it either. So things are what they are. It's a beautiful night though. Snow on the mountains. It's starting to get darker now. Very slowly. Darkness overcoming. Take a little cruise. Not quite Pacific Coast Highway. Or San Gabriel Mountains. Still quite lovely. Fancy out here. Hit it a little bit. I can get where I'm going. Nice and warm. I think I read that this is the most moderate winter in the United States out here. A person has no lights on. But like in summertime in the desert, it's blazing hot. But personally, I don't mind heat. I find the heat is almost a challenge. Survival challenge. Can you survive the heat? Got that neon sign going on over there. Very classic, very classic. I don't know why their lights are out. figured I'd just hop on, holler at people a little bit. I think I did maybe like 2.5 miles with maybe like 700 or 800 feet to the top of Quila Peak. Had nice snow views of the San Jacinto Mountains. Very rugged up there, very steep. I'm short on a little bit of mountaineering gear to be able to climb this top of San Jacinto. But I see people doing it, and I'm like, man, I wish I could like be a mountaineer like that. A couple $1,000 maybe of gear later, and I'd be good to go. Last night I had some In-N-Out over there. I don't know, but nobody wanted to talk about In-N-Out. I'm like, what's more California than In-N-Out? It's not good for you, but it tastes so good. I'm gonna stream the entire In-N-Out line sometime. Get on down here. Have a nice little evening. But I try not to like hold grudges against anybody or never give things up. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm making my way through the traffic. I think I was like 5 to like 7 over. I think mostly people are going very slow. And certainly one thing I'll say is that there's a lot of people who are doing drinking and driving, and like St. Patrick's Day is coming. So don't be that person. Don't be that person getting that DUI. Because that's almost comedic. I gotta find out where the DUI checkpoints are on St. Patrick's Day and just go out there and sit there and live stream everybody getting DUI. Like, don't do it. Oh, red light. Red light. I went to Trader Joe's earlier. Very exciting. Who doesn't love Trader Joe's? And they actually sold me on the mango calamansi sorbet. I was like, I got the sample and sold. Let's go eat me some sorbet. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some new stories coming. I mean, I've been debating if I'm going to write anything more about the Scientology protests. I mean, what's left of it, to be honest? Like, people kind of like, when I was like, is this the end? They're like, no, it's not. But I think, you know, as far as numbers, the sort of energy that was there like a year ago is like wildly gone. And I think different people have different explanations for why that is. I am not personally going to, you know, be replacing any sort of, you know, movement. Just a journalist, you know, people have to show up for me to cover it. And I mean, I think, you know, that's probably what people should be asking questions about. But I mean, personally, I'm like really interested in like where some of these national issues are going, particularly like at a more local level, right? Like rare earth minerals, DEI, of course, like whether the economy is gonna like, you know, take a nosedive. Because I mean, let's face it, right? Like that's probably our biggest concern is the economy. Tariff wars, mass layoffs. It's not as strong of an economy as people would like to think. And I mean, it's more than just the stock market. Like a lot of people are really segmented to different levels of income, and that's tremendously problematic. You can go fast out here though. Usually I'm like way below the speed limit. I needed myself a big old truck so I can like off-road. I'm gonna start truck fun. Like, let's go off-roading. But the off-roading scene is kind of like, I mean, those people leave a lot of like litter out there. And then like, of course, tire marks everywhere. Not quite the same as hiking boots. But it was a beautiful day. A lot of carrizo bushes, cactus. I haven't seen the Joshua trees in a little bit. I need to go see some Joshua trees again soon. Nothing like hugging a Joshua tree. Nah, I'm not really a gamer. Not so much. I mean, I play like a little bit of games here and there, but not like some people. I don't even have a system anymore. I just have my like a 10-year-old laptop and iPhone, but like not like, you know, Xbox or PlayStation, or back in the day it was more. I had the game going on. But I'm gonna let it go for one more minute. And then I'm gonna go do something fun. So I hope everybody is doing something fun. Had the Sunday fun day. Sunday being the best of days. And I'm gonna wish everybody well. Get some rest. It's gonna be another week. And everybody have a good night. I'm out.